Hello and welcome to Money Lap on a Wednesday. I'm Parker Kligerman and not joined as always by Landon Cassill. He may be joining a little bit. This is our Wednesday shows that we call Group Chat, and I'm currently in Sebring inside the racetrack in an RV. This is the power of the technology and internet, and we're going to dive into a bunch of big topics in the motorsports world with all our buddies from the Group Chat at Money Lap, AJ Henderson and Joshua Mendoza, and hopefully Landon joins us. What's on this edition? We have the news that NASCAR has changed the world-renowned driver provisional and how it works. We'll get into that. Autoclub Speedway short track may not be dead. We'll see. Amazon announced its pre-race / who they'll have in the pits and some of their talent announcements there for their 5 races. F1 CEO has his contract renewed. Good time to be the CEO of F1. Fox coverage is causing a slight issue for some of the IndyCar teams. We'll dive into that. And as I mentioned, I'm at the Sebring 12 hour. That means it's one of the biggest endurance races in the world. Can't wait to do it. But this is Money Lap on a Wednesday. Let's go. Boys, welcome to the show. As I said, we got Josh Mendoza, producer, and AJ Henderson, video guy, with a haircut and a hat this week. Looking good, man.
Yes. Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you. I was bullied by you so much that I looked like a caveman that I decided to cut my hair. And honestly, I'm kind of liking it. I think it was a good move.
You make me sound mean, man. You make me sound really mean. How dare you?
That's what I thought about for the past week. It's like, man, Parker's I'm gonna make him so happy when I cut my hair. I have a new microphone now. People were complaining about my microphone. I have a new microphone now. So
you sound good. You sound good. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. I said I'm down here at Sebring, guys. I'm in this badass RV. Got it on RV Share, rvshare.com. Not really a deal on there, but I'm working on it now. So if I mention enough in the show, I'll get like a partnership with RV Share because I'm totally sold. This is awesome. Sebring Raceway hooked me up with a spot. Thank you to them. And last minute, and this is pretty sweet. I'm inside the track, living large. It's pretty cool.
Are we allowed to see what it looks like, or you?
I can try. I can try. This might be for those listening. I'm showing the inside of this thing.
Look at that.
It's a fifth wheel, whatever, but it's brand new. Pretty nice. For those who are listening, basically, it's just like a brand new RV on the inside. Those watching on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed my tour. I can't go much further than that because I'm connected all sorts of wires in here, so we can't move. But guys, let's talk about this deal that could potentially happen in the Cup Series. We didn't mention at the top on the intro, but Christopher Bell could do a four-peat. Now, if he was about half a lap from doing this at the Daytona 500 and then winning the next 3, which would have been insane across those series of tracks. But now heading to Las Vegas, a place he's really good at, there's no reason to think he couldn't go 4 in a row. Josh, I know you put some numbers together and been going through this. Why is this so significant in who has done this before?
So I guess let's start with who has done this before. And I'm going to list names. And I mentioned this to you prior, and there was only one person on there that you said to me, maybe wouldn't it be a Hall of Famer? Everyone else who has completed the Four-Peat is a Hall of Famer. And I think we all can agree about that. 1976, Cale Yarborough. 1981, Darrell Waltrip. 1987, Dale Earnhardt. 1991, Harry Gant. 1992, Bill Elliott. 1993, Mark Martin. 1998, Jeff Gordon. And 2007, Jimmy Johnson.
So did you say who I thought was not?
I did not. No, I mean, I dropped the name was in that list, but
it was in that list. I'd be curious if you're on YouTube, let us know in the comments before I say it. If you let us know after I say it, then it doesn't count. I don't know how we would know unless you do the timestamp, but you just got to do it right now on YouTube. Tell us who you think in that list was not, or should not, or maybe isn't a Hall of Famer, but he probably will go in the Hall of Fame for what he did, but that would be Harry Gant because he had a late start. Probably doesn't have the numbers to rack up against some of those others. That's pretty crazy. That's some rare air. And we said it on Monday, Landon and I, but the thing that gets me about that, what he's doing to go 3 in a row in an era when everything is designed to stop that from happening. That's the part that's nuts. Like you have a car that everyone's running is the same, basically. You have, alternate tires now, option tires. You have stages to bunch up the field and, caution, create breaks. You have a championship system that's built around randomness and built around winning. And it's just like all these things add up to stop this sort of thing happening. And yet he's been able to do it. Pretty nuts. I just think it's insane.
I'd also argue, I'd argue as well that the tracks that he's done it on is probably more diverse than the tracks that these other drivers did this Four-Peat on. You had a road course, a super speedway, and then, whatever Phoenix is, a little bigger than a short track. I don't know if it's technically a short track. It's 1 mile, right?
It is a short track.
Call it a short track.
It's classified.
Yeah,
it's a flat track.
It's a flat track. And then Las Vegas. So that'd be 4 different racetracks. Whereas all the other drivers, it's like a couple short tracks. Like Jeff Gordon was like Pocono, Indy, Watkins Glen, a road course, then Michigan. Pocono, Indy are kind of similar. Michigan, it's a bigger track as well. But yeah,
that it's a diversity of tracks, which is nuts. If it's the 2007 era with Jimmy Johnson, I'm pretty sure that was primarily 1.5 miles that he did that on. If I remember correctly, I kind of remember when it occurred. 2 of them were 1.5 miles, which is like
Martinsville, Atlanta, Texas, Phoenix.
So, okay. So, hey, Phoenix in there. Obviously, Atlanta, for you young listeners and viewers out there, Atlanta used to not be a super speedway. So, I don't know how young you'd have to be to not know that, or if you just started watching NASCAR. You'd have, well, you could have just started watching NASCAR. You could have just started in the recent, last 2-3 years, and you wouldn't know. Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, if you're a new fan,
so,
that's true. Atlanta used to be.
Don't you generalize against? You're being ageist against new fans. How dare you?
I apologize. Don't send me to HR.
Oh man, if we had it, you'd already be there many times over.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But I think it's pretty cool. I think there's no reason it can't happen. So Josh, you point out this thing from Auto Racing Analytics that back in 2024, this would have been the fall race in the playoffs when he almost won, but Joe Logano out-strategized him in the 20 team. Christopher Bell, who I'm talking about, he would have finished the only car on the lead lap. He was that much faster than everyone. Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah. So here, let me throw it up right here.
Yeah, bring it right here. God, we have visuals. So if you're looking at home,
wow.
Yeah, if you're at home or if you're listening and not watching, we have a visual.
Yeah. So here you go. This is this basically the top frame for everyone is a photo or is a satellite view of Las Vegas Motor Speedways showing everyone who finished on the lead lap had the entire race gone green, which takes a bite out of Landon Cassill's favorite what if the systems were different situation, which he loves talking about. And it shows the 20 car in a class of his own on a lap of his own. And then the top 6 behind him, which would be Martin Truex Jr., Alex Bowman, who
Martin Truex Jr.
in the 19, was he not racing last year?
Yeah, this is last year. Yeah, AJ, get on the program.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Las Vegas is this weekend.
What are we dealing with here? Jeez,
I'm sorry.
They're roughly.
We give you the chance in prime time, and you just flub it in the first 10 minutes.
I spoiled it. I was looking at the Las Vegas road course in the infield, and I kind of lost track of what was going on.
That track is kind of fun to race in iRacing. They have it, by the way.
Wait,
infield.
Guys, this reminds me of the time when Landon Cassill famously in our group chat said, "That's not the P&L I'm working with," and that was one of the funniest moments we've all had together of all time. A little background: a P&L is a profit and loss. We were doing one of our big events we used to do at E-Racer, sim racing events, and we were going through like, "Hey, this is what the profit and loss looks like," and here's all because there was a lot of money behind those things, and it took an immense amount of money. We were handing out a lot of money, and Landon is seeing all this and just goes, "That's not the P&L I've been working with." We just all lost it.
Yeah, that was a moment in time. One of the best moments in time.
I cut you off though. What did you get everything you wanted out about that?
I was just going to finish it off and say basically he finished one lap ahead of the next top 6 drivers and only 6 drivers finishing one lap down. Everyone else would have been 2 or more laps down in that entire field. So that's where he's there at that track last year. Now his overall statistics, 10 races at Vegas, none of them have been a win, but 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 3 poles, and 248 laps led.
No, he's incredibly fast there. The reason he's so fast there is I've watched this a couple times. You know, obviously the cars are good, but what he has an amazing feel for, which is similar to a Kyle Larson, who also I would put in the category of being good at this type of track, and especially in the next gen car, which is that this car is incredibly difficult to get to the right rear, and it's incredibly difficult to balance there. And a lot of times you find it on the right front more, which is kind of how we as drivers perceive what's happening in the car. And what he and Kyle can do so well is they are their window of operation is massive. And that's what I think you see in great stock car drivers is their window of operation in terms of what they want the car to do and how it does it can be large. And especially in this next gen era where you're kind of all dealing with the same car. You know, one guy who actually, this is going to get really inside baseball, but like Kyle Busch had a specific feel he loved in a stock car, in, you know, what you'd term like an Xfinity car in the prior gen car. And he was definitely a driver who drove a lot on the right front. And I did a lot of sim testing for him, as I've talked about. And one of the things they were trying to emulate early on at RCR was him having that same feel. It was very tough to make happen with the next gen car. So I think that's where, you know, these guys weren't in Cup for so long to have had those habits and those things they were searching for. So Christopher Bell, your Kyle Larson's, when the next gen car comes around, they were more, you know, a lot of ways very adaptable. Now, I'm not going to say that Kyle Busch isn't still like a very open window of operation. The guy is one of the greatest talents of all time, and I could barely hold his helmet strap. But he, I think, just from what I know early on, at least in the next gen, was looking for something that wasn't exactly possible, where I think these guys went in with a more open mind. So that's why I'm not surprised to see that he's so fast there, Christopher Bell. That's a long way of saying that.
Well, in a short way of saying it, his odds are tied with Kyle Larson, and they're both plus 400 going into the weekend. And then the next one is Tyler Reddick at plus 650. So it's a Kyle Larson or Christopher Bell show, according to Vegas odds.
And this,
I don't know if we. What's that?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if we believe in the odds or the sports books, but those people always seem to have a way of having an okay way of looking at how things might go. So,
you know what my dad always said about Vegas? They don't build replicas of other cities losing. So they don't lose often. So you know what never got talked about? Speaking of odds, you remember where Connor Zulich was like the second best odds in his first Cup start at Coda? That didn't pan out.
Wow. Yeah. What a waste of money that was if you bet on that.
Yep. That didn't pan out. So they don't always know. He was fast.
I would love to have seen him if he didn't have the like lap 1 incident and hit by Suarez.
I know. That would have been.
That's NASCAR for you.
Maybe down. He would have been a top 10, top 5, easy top 10, possible top 5. So with the speed he had, let's dive into the world-renowned driver deal.
Okay.
Well, now you've put your hand up. Why? Where do you want to go?
I did put my hand up because this did remind me, and it's not in our show notes. There was a recent filing for an Echo Park Speedway trademark, and people are thinking it might be Coda, might get renamed to Echo Park Speedway. I just wanted to throw this out here.
No
it's
way.
A rumor. Could be the Charlotte Roval. That's my personal.
Coda's such a good name.
It is.
I mean, that's an SMI owned dealership deal, Echo Park, right? Because they own CarMax and then an Echo Park. So I believe that's just them wanting to name one of their speedways in that group. So we already have the Echo Park restart zone in CW.
Yeah,
that's true.
On SMI
There's an
tracks.
Echo Park dealership.
Yeah,
5
on
minutes
SMI
from
tracks, not ISD tracks.
So
go
I'm sorry,
to Echo Park for your local sandwich.
Sorry, carry on with the show. I'm sorry, Parker. I didn't mean to throw us off there.
That's it. You're out. Just cancel it. Cancel the whole thing, guys. We're done here. We're
see
done.
you guys later.
I hope there's someone outside. I hope there's someone outside my RV right now. Like, what's happening to that man? Is he okay? I'm just screaming into this large microphone.
They probably can't hear you. Okay. Those RVs aren't very soundproof, so.
No, this one's definitely not. This is like a fifth wheel, so it's a thinner walled sort of deal.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's not one of those like fancy Newell. Josh really did leave the show. Josh, you can come back.
Am I allowed back?
All right, you're back.
Okay.
All right. Because I need you for the next thing. So explain, what has NASCAR changed with this world-renowned driver deal? Which, to give some background, is what Elio Castroneves used at the Daytona 500 to get in there, where NASCAR basically, with the new charter agreement, put this new provision in where some driver that's considered world-renowned talent, that sort of thing, has the opportunity to, I guess, 2 months in advance or something,
3 months,
put in where they want to. 3 months. They want to be basically locked in the race. But the way it worked at the Daytona 500 was you could still attempt to qualify. You could still attempt to race your way in. And then if you didn't, you became a 41st car, which means you got no points and no prize money. That's what he ended up using because he crashed in his duel. So they've changed it now. What's changed?
Yes, they have changed it. There was a lot of frustration in the garage, I think is a good way to put it, because it felt like this was a backdoor deal that got made and then added to the rule book because one thing or another. And then there was a lot of people that felt that this wasn't fairly distributed, and it gave them an unfair advantage going into the duels, that they could kind of just race however they wanted. So NASCAR has since then adjusted it. Not sure if it's based on that feedback or just based on how it went down the first time, that you are no longer allowed to use it or to request it and still be eligible for points or money, or allowed to qualify. If you get it or you request it and you are granted it by NASCAR for that race, you are the 41st starter in the 41st position. You will not get money and you will not be allowed to qualify. It is basically, you will show up and race in 41st.
That's a better way to do it.
Yeah, and they also said that for NASCAR discretion, some races might not even be eligible for this provisional. So
basically, maybe the Daytona 500 doesn't even have it going forward.
Wow.
Did you guys like it?
AJ,
did you like that idea?
No. I feel like it really cheapens like the whole thing. I didn't like it personally. We always talk about how the Indy 500 qualifying is like the greatest. Like one of the greatest. It beats a lot of like actual big races. Like Indy 500 qualifying is bigger than every IndyCar race other than the Indy 500, you know? Like no offense to IndyCar, but we all know that. So I wonder, do you think it was the teams? Like, do you think teams came to NASCAR and was like, hey, you got to change this. This is ridiculous. Or do you think it was just all the backlash from fans?
I think it probably both. I know there was some discussion about it afterwards, and there was a lot of, I think a lot of people felt a little blindsided by it, and it just wasn't to your point, it kind of cheapens things. It's the same discussion we had on Monday, which is about the lack of a license system that truly matters and makes sense and has some sort of numerical way that you get there, right? And to becoming a cup eligible driver, because that does two things. The idea of a true license system like what F1 has creates scarcity. It creates value to drivers that have the eligibility over drivers who don't, and it creates value to the lower series like Xfinity and trucks, which would suddenly be required in a certain capacity and certain results, which would help those series in terms of people that want to go be in the Cup Series. And I think with this deal, it's a really cool concept. Like when SVG came over, that was amazing. It brought a lot of international attention. Elio, I think, was similar. I'm sure, if Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen showed up, that would be badass. Like we would all be like, hell yeah, brother, bring it on. That'd be amazing. But I think there's probably a right and a wrong way to do it. This sounds more like the right way to do it, which is like if we're gonna, it's almost a promoter's provisional. It's a star car, whatever you want to call it, a star spot. This makes more sense. Where if they come and do it, look, you are not getting any of the stuff that the other teams are supposed to get. You're not taking anything away from other teams. You could affect it, which Catherine Legge affected Daniel Suarez's race. And obviously Daniel Suarez was pretty open in his vlog about the fact that he felt like she didn't have the experience in stock cars to be there. She's a very talented driver. We all felt that. Very talented driver, but put in the worst car on one of the hardest tracks in a no-win situation. She was dealt a really tough hand. And I just think a true licensing system similar to F1 would solve that discussion ever even happened. Right now, if we had a true license system and she went all the that it took to get there and had the results, then when she gets in a cup car and has that same wreck, it's a non-issue. It happens. Whatever. Sorry, car wasn't good, whatever, but she went through all the things she was supposed to do to be there on some sort of system that makes more sense. I just think, that would help a lot and I think there's some drivers, I'm going to make a real hot take here. I think there is 2, 3, maybe 2 to 3 drivers in the Cup Series who, under a proper licensing system, probably wouldn't be there, and they just didn't have the results. And I don't, I think results. Obviously, there's time in a car and starts and that sort of thing. I think there's just some form of results that have to be in there as well, and I think they would have a hard time having been eligible for the Cup Series from what they did in the last couple of years. So.
Okay, Josh.
In a true life,
it's really awkward, and start guessing which drivers he's talking. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to name names right now. Not prepared for that, but in another show.
We'll
keep listening.
Kyle
Keep
Larson,
watching.
Christopher Bell, and
those two. They'd never
Ryan
be there.
Blaney.
They'd never be there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna just come out and say I think that the Open Provisional is awesome. I personally think it's cool. I think 41 cars is better than 40 cars on the Daytona 500, and Daytona qualifying hasn't been the same since the charter system got implemented. So to me, it's not like we're losing anything and we're only gaining, and they can choose to have somebody in or not. And I do agree that maybe they should be required to run a lower series race before they are allowed to race in the Cup Series. And maybe that's a requirement of the provisional. You got to build up a case of why you should be allowed to take this provisional. But I think when you're dealing with like a Daytona 500, and maybe in the future, this won't be such an issue where we have so many people who arguably should be eligible for this provisional. Maybe it would be something that would be nice to add a 41st car and to let a Max Verstappen not go home because he got a bad draft or a bad push out of turn 4 and got slightly loose. And, it's just, there's so many storylines, and I feel like this is a great way to ensure a storyline going into the Daytona 500 or any other race where it might matter. So just my personal take.
Fair point.
Hey,
my only rebuttal is, and it'll be short, is that remember the Indy 500 when Fernando Alonso and McLaren were trying to make the race, and they had all those issues. That's like a cool moment to look back on.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I feel like that's kind of, it's almost different because you have 36 cars guaranteed. It's not like, to me, I know that Fernando Alonso was a one-off entry, but the idea of somebody who is running full-time failing to make the show is, I find that kind of intriguing. And to bring this back to my to our old stuff, I think the Firecracker 400, our iRacing event for eRacer that we used to do and may still do in the future, we don't know. We'll see. If you want to sponsor, drop us a link, drop us an email. But no.
Do not promise anything.
I think one of the amazing things was the fact that you could be the winner one year and then not even make the show the next. And I think that's one of the cool things, but the charter system doesn't allow for that. And that's my own issue with the charter system. And I will share that at another time.
Okay. We'll look forward to that one. Wow. It'll
be one episode. It'll just be ranting for 55 minutes.
We're just going to talk about it. Yeah. That's all we're gonna do in 1 week.
How exciting! Oh my goodness.
Okay, what's
let's
next
move
topic?
on. I think I just to put a cap on it. Let's put a little cap. The international cool drivers and well-known drivers absolutely is a good thing. I think there's tons of evidence for that, but we gotta do it in a way that doesn't cheapen the Cup Series, because it's supposed to be the top level of motorsport in America, and you can't just waltz on the NFL field. I saw this clip from Colin Cowherd about the LeBron's son on the Lakers, and he said this is a serious game and this is an unserious move, or something along those lines. And I love that terminology, because this is a serious game, and a lot of people put their lives into it and treat it very seriously, and certain moves can make it unserious and cheapen it. Yep. And we don't want to do that. There's a right and a wrong way. I want to see big names come and race in NASCAR and do different races, like Fernando Alonso at the Indy 500, as you mentioned, was awesome. Him at Sebring at the 1,000-kilometer race here a couple years ago was amazing to see. Like, the dude's a badass. I want to see that. I want to see people come and do NASCAR, but it's got to be done the right way. And I think this is a step in the right direction for sure. So where should we go next? What's next on our rundown?
Why don't we talk about the Amazon pre-show and the pit road reporters, because there was one name that, I mean, clearly a miss. It's just not on there, but that's okay. I didn't see Parker Kligerman listed as a pit road reporter for Amazon. And I'm on the team of just, you need to be on every broadcast.
I appreciate that. It's very flattering. I'm too big now. They couldn't meet my quote. So let's just put it out there. I'm just gonna make it honest. I'm gonna make it honest. And maybe they didn't ask. Maybe I got other things going on. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think they got a great group of talented people. And you mentioned it, Carl Edwards. That's badass. That's cool as hell. He's a great dude. I can't wait to hear from him. I think, he's going to be watching the races, which is cool, and getting involved. He's been more involved in NASCAR recently. I had a cool conversation with him at Kansas last fall where we chatted for like 15 minutes on the grid. And I just sat there being like, man, and I ended up like, man, we miss you. Come on back. So he's a great personality, hell of a driver, and I like seeing him be involved. So that's pretty cool. And then Kim Kuhn, Marty Snyder, two of the best in the business on pit road, no doubt about that. And Trevor Bain. So he texted. I knew this was happening because he had hit me up a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago. I was asking me about pit reporting and like what's it like and that sort of thing. And I was like, you're gonna find out. It's not easy. So it can be a really, really dynamic job, and I think he'll do a great job. But he's in for a learning curve for sure. I was talking to who was that? Well, who was I talking to? I can't remember about this. And I was like, pit road is so difficult. And there was someone who had tried it, and they're like, yeah, I never want to go back to do that again. I was like, okay. So it is really difficult, but that's a cool group, and it'll be fun to see. Already you have the race or the practice and qualifying on Amazon Prime right now, so we get a little bit of an idea. A lot of the production team is my friends from NBC who are doing the production. So, I think it will be a really, really good broadcast.
Yeah, I'm excited for Trevor.
All right,
I think Trevor did a really good job in Xfinity booth. He did some Xfinity races in the booth last year, the last couple of years. He was always really good at it.
Yep.
So,
I personally have been doing my research. I watch Thursday Night Football a lot to see how Prime approached that and how they wanted to create a product differentiator from themselves and other broadcasters. And I really love the Prime Vision, or whatever they called it, the second broadcast that had a lot of additional statistics and details. Now, whether or not they're going to be able to bring that to NASCAR, I don't know, but I'd like to think that they're going to be a lot more heavier on getting the statistics, the details, and finding things that maybe isn't necessarily normally on a motorsports broadcast. And I think that's going to be really fun and really cool. And they are also going to have that mid-season tournament to look forward to. So
No, that's on Turner.
No, but the qualifying for it is on Amazon. And it goes to Turner. They get to look forward and do that analyzing and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, I think it'll be great. You know, what I expect from Amazon is a lot of cool gizmos, right? Like it's going to be, at the end of the day, they have a pretty endless fun chest, as I guess I should call it. Funny money.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the most valuable companies in the world. So by a large margin over most media companies. So I think they have a lot to work with, and that's why they could be a really cool partner. And they, you know, my hope is that when a cup race is happening, everyone who has Amazon Prime on their phone gets a ding saying, hey, go watch NASCAR Cup Series. Could be the biggest rating ever, or I don't know.
They also,
if you go on Amazon and you have Prime, you go on Amazon.com, like the normal website, in the top right, when there's cup practice and qualifying going on, and say NASCAR Cup Practice live, which I thought was really cool.
That's going to be, I think they've got, what, 100 million or 80 million Prime members, or is it 200 million now? Something crazy like that.
It's a lot. But I do know one thing. Now I'm curious to see if they do this.
Wow, thanks for that fact.
I was just going to, I don't know the number. Do you want me to go Google the number for you right now? I could go and do that, or I could tell you the fact that
I got you.
Thursday Night Football is broadcasted live on twitch.tv and is free for anyone to go view, which would be crazy to do and see if they take that on with NASCAR. That would be really cool to see.
That would be cool. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't, but I know about that and seen that happening. But NBC also does the production for that for Thursday Night Football for Amazon. It's kind of how the connection came for this on the NASCAR side.
That's
so
cool.
Wow.
A lot of same
according
people.
to Wikipedia, Amazon Prime has now over 200 million members.
Oh my goodness! So that's bigger than any cable. That's wildly large.
That's bigger than Mr. Beast. It's like double Mr. Beast, dude.
Wow.
And Mr. Beast
that's
is
what we're
on
up against now.
Amazon Prime. Mr. Beast is on there too. So
wow, yeah, dude, they got to him.
Yeah, wow. So technically, that
and
means
Grand Tour was on Amazon.
They're taking over everything.
Yeah, that means he has.
Dude, we're gonna be on Amazon eventually.
Grand Tour, Jeremy Clarkson. We're gonna be there. Everyone's on Amazon. We're all there. I mean, we're Prime members. Anyone in the planet basically is, or at least in the United States. So that's what that says basically. So
I literally live under the shadow
I do like Amazon.
Of an Amazon warehouse. It's literally across the street from me. So
there you go. About to say you work in one now.
Yeah, I go there to work. I'm late for work right now, so I'm gonna go over there.
He's got the night shift.
See ya.
See you guys. I gotta go back over there to the Amazon warehouse. We shouldn't laugh because that is like a really desirable job working for Amazon. So we love the Amazon folks, love the warehouse folks. You get us all our packages and everything so quickly. Good people out there. Good people who, work hard to make it that we get those one-day deliveries and we're like, I need that thing. It shows up at your doorstep in no time. They all make that happen. Them and I'm assuming some robots in there somewhere, but good people. Thank you. Thank you, Amazon workers. We appreciate your service and for getting us your packages, our packages, not your packages. Guys.
All right. They're not sponsors.
So some news. Yeah, we're not getting there. I know. Not going to happen. We're just going to keep trying. Hey, why do they talk about this one company so much? We're open for a sponsorship. Please. Come over here and sponsor us.
Spamming Jeff Bezos. Trying to get him to sponsor us.
Yeah. The Autoclub Speedway, the 2-mile beautiful D-shaped oval that no longer exists, that had some of the greatest sunsets and photography in the NASCAR world. Kart went there, set world speed records back in the early 2000s around that track. I actually won my first Formula Car race, Formula Renault race there back in 2006. Had one of my earliest top 5s in Xfinity there. Had one of my best cup races going there before we got wrecked by Casey Mears. And you got the great mountains in the distance off of that place. It's not there anymore. My point of this whole poem is that it's not there. But there's been, because NASCAR sold, 80% of the land there, and they tore it down. They've been wanting to maybe do a short track. It sounds like it might not be dead. It hasn't happened quickly, but it might not be dead. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, so this article came out from the Los Angeles Times basically saying that NASCAR, they don't know what's happening. It sounds like they just don't know what's happening. They're waiting and seeing. We're in a holding pattern. It looks like they left it in 2022 and then sold some land off, and now warehouses are built where turn 1 is.
Amazon, probably.
Probably.
Shout out to Amazon.
Yep. Turn 3 and turn 4, there's all warehouses there, but that front stretch, the garages, still all are sitting there like it's 2022. So they said we're not abandoning the market, but with no race in Southern California this year, because this is the first year since the Clash has not been at the LA Memorial Coliseum, it is breaking the streak since 1997 of a presence of NASCAR in the Southern California market. So the first time since 97, no Southern California race. They're waiting for some things within the sport that need to get sorted before they can make some strategic decisions, big corporate words, as what it relates to what they're going to build. They just don't know what it is or where. Or when.
So
when, not where, not where, when.
So basically, there's no update. That's what you're telling us.
Yep. It might not be dead. It might be dead. It's probably.
I liked might not be dead. It sounds like the way to sum it up. This might not be dead yet. We'll find out. So, well, we'll keep tracking it. We'll see. I would love to see them do it. I love that area. I love going out to LA. All of my best friends all living out in LA. My sister lives out there. So I always liked the West Coast swing, Phoenix, LA, Vegas, where I could basically go to LA for 2 weeks at a time in that time period, which was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. So I hope it comes back. And I'd like to see it be cool and unique and different and do something crazy. I don't know. Last week, Josh.
Oh, yes.
Well, I was going to say last week, we unveiled this idea of going to Reddit, picking out some of the best topics.
Yes.
On NASCAR Reddit. We've done F1 Reddit at times. So what are you seeing out there in the Reddit sphere today?
So,
I haven't barely been able to be on my phone because I've been down here at Sebring and running around like a crazy person.
So what I found this week, and I asked AJ to find one, but I don't think he did. He failed his homework.
I found some good ones, and then I was like, "Oh wait, they talked about this on Monday." So the NASCAR Reddit's been a little slow this week. All right, they need to.
Honestly, NASCAR Reddit users, we know you listen. If you want your content poached for content here, post it on the subreddit. We will talk about it. But what
if you want?
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, man, this hotspot's not working. You're like
your internet is so bad.
So it's gone bad. But
what?
Jeez. Yeah, it's look at you. You want to be a race car driver, and now you have bad internet. It's sports car drivers. I'll tell you what. But anyways, I found this thing. If you ever wanted to know what the top speed of a NASCAR car was without a restrictor plate, without a tapered spacer, this video, which I don't know if I'm actually allowed to play, but I can describe really darn fast, like nearly 250 miles per hour. I think it gets to 249. So it's a flyer. You're imagine 250 going down the super stretch at Talladega. That'd be wild. Imagine those blowovers.
Is this a straight line that it went in?
Yeah. So you know what? We'll find out.
Okay.
So here you go. Let me unmute it because
is this Bonneville?
It's State Route 318 in Nevada.
Oh
my goodness, dude! He's spinning tires and stuff.
Wild. And let's just give credit.
I thought this was going to be. I thought this was going to be a lot more like scientific. I didn't know this was at like just a good old boys party out in the desert.
It's not even a straight line.
They just sort of just sent it. Yeah, what in the world? If you're not watching on YouTube, just this guy is out in the desert and he's just like gunning it on a road. I mean, this seems wild. We're at 201 mile an hour, 205. We're just keep on going.
So is this? Do we know who this is, or is this like somebody who bought like an old NASCAR and he took it out in the desert? Is there any backstory to this?
I'll be honest. I just found the link and thought it was so cool. I haven't read any further than that, but we will find out as soon as we're done watching this.
So we're almost at 240, and we got also. Turn. Oh my goodness!
Okay, he's about to turn to the right.
Oh, he lifted.
So 238. Now he's slowing down. He lifted.
What's he doing?
Oh my goodness! We got to add. By the way, we have someone here who's joining.
Oh my goodness! Well, yeah. Let's
look who it is.
What are we watching?
Hey! Landon Cassill
welcome,
in
Landon.
the building.
We're watching a car without a restrictor plate.
250 miles per hour.
Yeah.
I thought we were watching somebody iRacing.
No, this is real life.
It's like the good old
It
days.
does look fake. It does look fake almost. It's a nice tone for the listeners out there that are just listening. They just hear this engine droning on at 235 miles an hour. I think we've gotten the point, Josh. I think so.
Song of my people right there.
So it goes 249 at some point. That's crazy. Fastest I've ever gone in a stock car was 225 miles an hour, basically, and that was at the proving grounds.
Can you Google map where we're at here?
This is State Route 318.
Show me that on a map.
Wow.
Let me get it real quick. While
welcome to the show, Landon.
Yes.
This is interesting. This is a group chat.
It's a group chat. You made it on. Look at you.
Hey, AJ.
We've gone through most of the biggest NASCAR stuff. We're about.
Okay.
This was our last NASCAR topic, but we're happy you're here, buddy.
Yeah, you have me for like 10 minutes. Is that okay? This is a little cameo.
That's fine. That's fine. We've probably got a little time left for myself as well because I've got to run out to a photo shoot for Lamborghini that's been added to my calendar. That's just gonna drop that there. By the way, hey guys, if you can pick that up for me real quick, I just dropped
that one just in case there's any ladies listening.
Our demographics say there's none. So we got about a 97 percentile in the male demographic.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
But
all right, here you go.
Okay, here's your Google Maps.
What's the fastest you've ever gone, Landon?
I'm pretty sure like 220 something at Michigan is a fast. I think 227 maybe.
So was it Michigan? So at Michigan, yeah, because Michigan qualified in 2012. I remember the data said 221 or 222, something like that in the turn one when I qualified the 22 car there. But then at the proving grounds, we did some tandem drafting there, and I swear I think we went 225 at one point, which was terrifying.
Yeah, that over 220 is the fastest I've gone, and it was at Michigan. Proving ground stuff, I never did anything unrestricted, but when we did the tandem drafting, I did it with Justin Allgaier in Yuma for Hendrick, and we were going over 200, but we weren't going at 220. And that was probably the most insane thing I've ever done.
Yeah, because you have the guardrails that stick out, wherever, and we'll get footage of one of these things one time. But it was terrifying because you're just in the desert with these sudden guardrails that pop up. But
it was stupid.
But
is it
yeah, it was stupid. Well, Sam Hornish. Yes, exactly the same thing. Like the banking, you're on flat road, and then suddenly there's banking, and there's a guardrail that would just literally impale you if you hit it.
Do nothing.
But Sam Hornish and I were doing it, and I want to say we were around 220, somewhere up there at one point, and we had to slow down.
Yeah, we were around 200. But Hendrick only wanted us to go that fast. They didn't, they were trying to get data on unreasonable speeds. Yeah.
Well, Penske was planning to go win. Obviously, you guys weren't.
Penske was planning on going over 200. That's great. So what have you guys?
Josh, that early Reddit?
Yeah. And Landon, to answer your questions, a couple of just rounding up what we've talked about so far. The provisional request for world-renowned drivers, you are now no longer able to register for it and then go and qualify for the race. You are either a provisional or not. So if you choose to request it, you are no longer eligible for money and no longer eligible to qualify. or points if you get that provisional, and they can choose whether or not that race is eligible to even have one. So that's kind of what's happened. Autoclub Speedway maybe did, maybe not, maybe not. We don't know. Neither does NASCAR apparently.
What an update!
Yeah, and then Amazon has Carl Edwards as part of the pre-race show.
Tune into the next episode of Money Lab Group Chat.
There you
For
go.
another update on Autoclub Speedway.
Yeah, and
we're not sure.
We're not sure it's happening.
That's the
all right. See you next week, everyone.
I saw the Carl Edwards news. That's cool.
Yeah,
he'll be great in the booth.
I don't know if he's in the booth though.
Or what?
He's in a post race.
Yeah,
I think he's with.
I'm sorry,
he's an analyst with. Yeah, with Corla Joy. I'm pretty sure it's them two in there. So, and then you got Pit Road with Kim Kuhn, Marty Snyder, and Trevor Bain. So
very cool.
Yeah, good for them. Did you like? So we were just talking about it real quick. I just want your opinion. The provisional for world-renowned drivers. I know we talked about it on our, just you and I, but to remind the listeners and the viewers out there, your position. Do you feel like this helps, hurts it? Did you like it?
I think it makes it more palatable. Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it essentially saying, hey,
I agree.
If you want to race for money, you have to race your way in like everybody else. If you're willing to race for free,
correct,
you can declare eligibility and we will approve you or not. Right? And you're not taking a spot away from anybody. You're not taking any money away from anybody. But we will. It makes it palatable. I'm still not a fan.
Like it.
I mean, I'm still not a fan because I, desire for the sanctity of the pinnacle of motorsport, but I understand it. But I don't know how many more people watched the Daytona 500 because Ilio was in the race.
Yeah, well, the ratings didn't.
Because they told us it was going to be millions.
I don't think it was.
No.
Here, so I used that Colin Cowherd clip, and I said the unserious, the nature of what he said about LeBron's son being in a serious game, and that's unserious moves. I was like, we want the Cup Series. Everyone in the Cup Series takes it seriously, and they're there as a job, and it means a lot to them. And moves that cheapen it make it unserious in some respects. And I went down the path of the license system and why we truly need one and that sort of thing. So I think you and I are in the same thought process there with it.
Yeah, I watched that Colin Cowherd clip this morning. I was like, oh no. Good thing he doesn't know much about NASCAR.
Yeah, the NBA gets their first pay player and everybody loses their mind. NASCAR is built off of it and nobody bats an eye.
But if we had a license system, it wouldn't be.
It's interesting, though, that this is kind of the first of our generation example of that, kind of rising to the forefront in the NBA. I wouldn't suppose any league is immune to it, especially the NFL. I mean, he kind of lauded the NFL in that clip. You did play the clip, right? So anybody listening at this point knows what we're talking about?
No, Parker
we didn't play
referenced something and didn't give me a link to play it. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay,
that's my fault.
If you're listening, sorry, so that you're caught up, go find the clip of Colin Cowherd. So go to his Twitter or whatever, his X website, and there's a clip where from his show, whether it was yesterday, today, I don't know when it was, where he was talking about Bronny James and essentially how Bronny is a pay player, a gentleman player, and is not a serious NBA player. And the only reason he's on the team is because of his dad. And I guess it was just, astounding to me to see that said out loud about the NBA. That's like, we've thought of those sports like the NBA and the NFL being immune to that type of stuff, but here it is right in front of us. It's been happening in racing since the beginning of time.
I'm getting it right now. Hold on one second.
But he made a comment at the end of his take that the NFL sort of doesn't have this problem. And I did kind of want to raise my eyebrow to it and be like, okay, first of all, how do we know that maybe they don't have this problem, but how do we know they're not immune to it? Right?
Yeah.
And they have larger rosters too. So you can't tell me that there aren't isn't some nepotism or some kind of pay for play. It definitely happens at the college level because I know, here in town and University of Iowa, there's always somebody who's, a second string kicker because their dad, this has something to do with whether it's a
Nepo
car
baby.
dealership or some kind of Nepo baby.
Well, there
Okay,
are
here's-
also kind of instances where it's not necessarily the same as this, but NFL players or NBA players, they'll take a pay cut in order to get other players on their team that they like. So that's kind of in the same vein, similar. Like, hey, you're gonna pay me less money, so you can pay more for this guy because we want him. But I guess
that's
it's like
kinda
a common
strategic,
strategy
isn't
in
it?
sports. Yeah,
Yeah, that's strategic.
I guess that's not the same thing.
No, that's not Nepo baby stuff. It's not their son
No,
they're
yeah,
trying to get
yeah.
on.
Yep.
Or
Yep,
Well,
you're right.
yeah,
I got the
we're
clip,
talking Nepo
so
baby.
I
Let's
got
play
the
it.
clips.
Play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see it.
In the NBA, you have to pretend that Bronny's an NBA player because otherwise you'll upset the king. And remember, he is a 6'2" guard that's a non-point guard. I've never seen that existing in the current NBA. And go back 20 years. He is 1 for 16 in the NBA from the floor, 0 for 7 on threes. He's not an NBA player. He was not a great high school player. He was a good high school player. He wasn't a good college player. He was a college player. And he's not an NBA player. And he may be a great kid. I'm sure he is. LeBron's a nice guy. I've met him. Can we stop pretending on this? Tyrese Maxey's a great player and cooked him. And you rushed him up because, hey, he had a good G League game. Oh, God. And I think of the many reasons the NFL is separated from the NBA is the NFL's a serious league. The games matter. It's adults. It's men. It's real conversation. We're not going to see Jalen Hurts' son wedged into the Eagles to play running back. No, it's Saquon Barkley. He's better than anybody. Grown-up conversations. Don't be terrified. Walk on eggshells. Last night came in, 3 turnovers, 0 for 5, looked terrified, nervous, and the Sixers, you can't fool players, went right after him. This continues to be an unserious story.
Man, what a clip.
So now
means
do
I love
NASCAR.
that term. Unserious. Now do NASCAR. Where do we start?
I mean, I feel like
not just picking on NASCAR. I mean, really any form of professional motorsport.
Yeah.
Formula
down.
1, Lance Stroll. I'm just going to say it. Like, his dad bought a team. He wouldn't be in Formula 1 if his dad didn't buy a team. And I'd say he's worse. Might be the pinnacle of the example right now.
The worst part is, Josh, that's not the truth, because even if his dad didn't buy a team, his dad could be funding him in another Formula 1.
This is true. That's true. That's true.
He did for a while.
First season.
He did.
Yeah.
You're right though. I don't know.
And here's the crazy thing about that, Josh. The one thing I will say, and I've had this conversation with some people in the sports car world, is like Lance Stroll is probably a top 50 driver in the world, potentially. Maybe a top 100. Because to be that close in F1, you have to be somewhat competent. But he's going up against Fernando Alonso, right? He's going up against the idea of in some respects, a Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc. These are elite level talents that he's on his own merit probably wouldn't have lasted there. Maybe he could have gotten there. He wouldn't have lasted there. No matter how much he had Landon. That's the one thing I think would refute that.
Are we just gonna? I mean, I think that it is a thought-provoking take. It's everything Colin is saying is truthful up to the point that he made the NFL immune to it, and I think that's where he's wrong, right?
Yeah.
And we will see over the next decade if Jack and Benny Brady end up on an NFL roster and how good they are. Right? Like, is Tom Brady's kids going to get to play in the NFL? Do they deserve it? Right? I don't know. Maybe they do. I've never seen them play. But, there's been larger than life figures in those sports. And I don't know what this is a fun conversation to have, to be like, what caused this? Because I truly don't think that, the NFL is any more immune to it than the NBA. But what happened in the NBA? Is it because LeBron just got so big? I mean, I don't know. He's not the larger than life figure ever in the NBA. I mean, Michael Jordan was pretty big time even in his retirement years. So I don't know. Like it's interesting. But NASCAR, NASCAR definitely fundamentally has this issue where people can just buy their way in. And motorsports, sorry, I keep picking on NASCAR. It's like motorsports does have that issue. In my mind, part of it is because the car is so important in racing, right? And it's we don't market the car enough, right? But the car has a huge effect on the performance of the team. The driver is important, right? But the driver gets 95% of the credit, but has 20% of the impact, right?
Yep.
So I think that there's kind of an imbalance there that causes that ability to just come in and buy a seat, because there's more to it than just the driver.
This whole thing reminds me about like talking about people buying seats and stuff, and then like the LeBron NBA thing. There's an old story. Maybe I'll bring this in next week because it's a really fascinating story. Very early on in the NHL, there was a team owner who wanted a certain player on the team, but the minor league that the player had to come through to play in the NHL or whatever it was called at the time, this is like the early 1900s, he wasn't old enough to play in the league. So he bought this league, changed the age requirement so the kid could play, and then moved him up to the NHL onto his team.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna do like actual research and figure, and I'll bring it in next week. But
so
now, was that because he was
to
such
wrap up my thought on this? Like that, you have to ask yourself, why is it a bad thing in motorsports? Why do we talk about it like it's a bad thing? To me, the reason it's a bad thing, the reason, gentlemen drivers making their way into NASCAR and the Cup Series is a bad thing, is because it takes away from the authenticity of the competition, right? And I think it causes confusion for the fans. Like a fan can watch the sport week after week, month after month, year after year, and watch a driver continuously underperform and not downgrade, even potentially upgrade what they're doing. They could fail upwards in their career, and it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah,
and so
it happens all the time.
It hurts that to me, it hurts the cohesiveness and it ruins the interest in the sport for any individual fan to be like, well, what's the point of watching if the storyline doesn't make sense? If the underdog driver who overachieves doesn't get rewarded, and if the overrated driver who underachieves does get rewarded, why do I watch? Why does it make sense? Right? That's to me, if I would put in a nutshell why it's a bad thing, to me that's the answer.
Hot damn, AJ, you got your clip for the week right here. Get to work.
Yeah.
We got some clips.
Yeah, there
we
you
got
go.
some good clips.
Can I go back down to
Landon.
the showroom now?
You can leave, I guess, unless you want to
Thank
stick
you
around
for
for the
Landon's
F1 side.
rant.
But yeah, that was good stuff.
You guys talk
really
about
good
F1
stuff.
But I will. Did you see somebody tweet that the Australian Grand Prix was canceled, and then they
Yeah,
replied under the tweet, and they were like, "Oh wait, this was 2020." Sorry.
Oh, that's funny.
It actually had me going.
did
'Cause I
see
was
that.
like, I want to watch this year. I want to watch it. I'm interested.
I am too. I'll be getting done with this race, the Sebring 12-hour at 10:10, hopefully in Victory Lane. So we should be done with that by about 11:30, and I think the Australian Grand Prix starts 12 a.m. our time, or at least the broadcast does. So used to start like
you're
1
gonna
a.m.
be so tired.
Yeah, I'm gonna be dying, but
Wait, it starts midnight.
hopefully I'm celebrating.
on
I
Saturday
think
night?
so. Yeah,
Sunday
Yeah.
morning, whatever.
yeah.
Ugh.
Sweet.
So
9 p.m.
I've
for
got
me.
on this RV. I've got an outdoor TV spot as well. I could set that up and be watching it
I'm gonna be
Ooh,
watching
get a party
that.
going.
outside after the race. Go party
You're
our
gonna watch
victory
your
of the F1
eyelids
race.
out.
I'm already out. Sorry, I just told you guys what. I'm already out. It's midnight. I'm already out.
Highlights in the morning.
We get-
Uh-oh.
you just watch it at 6 a.m. and having coffee. How about that?
I will.
Sunday morning.
I will.
So
F1 breakfast.
Awesome.
style.
Fun
Awesome.
breakfast.
See you later, Landon.
good to have you, buddy. Thanks for dropping in. See, you never know who's going to end up on Money Lap group chat. We should say, by the way, we've said this a lot, but we actually have Josh be my witness. We have started to set up recurring guests for Money Lap. Mondays will be a rotating cast. You will not want to miss these guests. We're going to get people from all around the motorsport world, and they're going to be joining us not just once, but consecutively. So pretty excited about it. From Cup, Xfinity, open wheel racing, who knows? Maybe sports cars. We'll go. I guess I kind of consider I'm everything. So having me has all the series covered. But anyway, we're gonna have that. Not just Landon Cassill on the group chat, but
Yeah,
guys, let's talk F1. Let's do
Okay.
it. This guy's got to get to a Lamborghini photo shoot. Oh, drop that bomb again.
let's go
Hey, guys,
rapid
you know
fire
I
here.
drive a Lamborghini. Yeah.
Oh wow,
So
good for you.
yeah, Landon mentioned it. It's race week for the F1 series in 2025, the F1 World Championship. And I like when they say champion of the world, by the way. But it's Australia, which is kind of nostalgic for me to see it start in Australia. I didn't like when they started in the Middle East. Never appreciated that. So back to starting Australia. But before they launched, once again, Drive to Survive came out. All right, poll of the room here. Who's watched it? I haven't yet.
I did not watch it, and I saw enough clips online for me to realize that I have no interest in watching it.
I have not watched Drive to Survive in 2 or 3 years.
Let me if you don't mind,
Don't
Parker,
play a clip.
don't
Will
play
we
a
get in
clip.
trouble for that? Will we
I
get in
don't know.
trouble for that?
I thought it's 21 seconds, but I could just
What's
do
the
this.
clip?
I'll explain the clip that I want to show. Max
Okay,
Verstappen
go.
is a cold hard killer. He's evil. He's the villain of the series. And then there's Lando Norris, who plays with puppies.
No way.
That's
Oh man, now I need to see the clip. That's pretty funny.
No way. We don't want to get sued,
that
boys. We
came out.
don't want to get sued.
There was that thing that came out with Max where he was like, "Oh yeah, Netflix show that I was really upset after the Miami Grand Prix. It was actually like one of my greatest nights I've ever had of my life. I was having a great time." And they were saying that I was like pissed off, not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
I guess I probably should have brought that in. Whoops.
No.
No.
That's I
No.
was gonna mention it myself. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's season 1 and 2 of Drive to Survive were great. I feel like it was, maybe I'm just dumb and didn't know what was happening in the actual series, and I thought that it was great, but season 3 and onwards, they jumped the shark.
The sound
repeatedly.
design really puts me off.
Yeah.
Like where there's a driver like clearly like in the apex of a corner and he's like upshifting, or like the noises mess with me. Or there's like a driver crashing and like their engine's revving up.
It.
It's so
Yeah.
bad.
No, the when they go to onboards and the sounds don't match up, it drives me insane. Drives me literally insane.
It's like
And-
that needs to be spot on.
You either die a docuseries or live long enough to become a reality TV show.
Well, that's what it is. It's a reality TV show at this
Wow,
point.
yeah. That's
just-
a good.
And that's a great saying, Josh, because it really is a reality TV show. And I really think that's where I've lost the luster. Like, it took me 6 months to watch the last season. I don't even know if I watched all the episodes, because I also, like you guys, I watch it. I'm not trying to be cynical, but I just sit there and I'm like, well, that's bull. That's bull. That's not true. That's nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
totally.
And it's
That's
just like,
part of the
okay, well,
fun
then
in
why am I
watching
watching
it.
this? I
It's
already
just
know
like
all these.
filling it
I
up.
already know all this. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not for us.
It's also
So-
frustrating because I have several friends that their exposure to Formula One is Drive to Survive, and they are
Yes.
ecstatic to talk to me about Formula One. And so they mention like things, and I'm like sitting here and they're describing something. I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. That is not how that went down. But they think that what they're being presented is what's actually happening. And I will say my favorite thing about the editing is how much curse words are in there, and the FIA has a curse word ban now. So that's another thing that I just love. So there you go.
That's the stupidest rule ever. Dumbest, stupidest, dumb ass thing I've ever heard in my life. You'll have to bleep that. But
I think your internet cut it out for us.
Stupidest, perfect, stupidest thing of all time in motorsports is the FIA ban on language or whatever. Tell me you don't understand what you're doing without telling me you don't understand what you're doing and what matters. And that is just so evident. Let's move off Drive to Survive. I still will watch it at some point, but it'll most likely be when I'm on a plane. Will Buxton caused some fervor on the internets here on Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. I've been seeing, I know it's F1 race week because everything on my Twitter feed is just F1 right now. They suck the air out of all of the algorithm. And Will Buxton was mouthing off to a fan who was saying that Colton Herta is not F1 material because they said Colton Herta has 100 starts in IndyCar, 0 championships, best result of the second, 9 wins. He says less than 1%, which is absolutely not 9 wins. About 9 out of 100 is not less than 1%. 6 fastest laps, 14 poles, and 18 podiums. 7 of them with Andretti. You have plenty of drivers in F1 as reserve and F2 that are better, whatever. And Will Buxton replied with Landon Norris, 125 starts, 0 championships, best result, second, 4 wins, 12 fastest laps, 9 poles, and 26 podiums, 2025 title favorite, you bet. Stats will only ever tell you so much. And ask Lando how highly he rates Colton. Clue, very. Man, I responded this by saying I'd like to report a slaughtering on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
Just destroyed this person, this F1 elitist out there. Destroyed.
Will Buxton banger tweets.
Armchair analysts, my favorite things are statistics because, believe it or not, there's almost always a statistic to support your point. And you could have any point in the world, and if you are willing to look hard enough, you can find a statistic that might support it. And that's why statistics are fun, but they should never be taken at surface level because, I mean, any sport, you can look at it and you can wildly misconstrue what actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a cautionary PSA for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Anyway.
This is like helpful advice. AJ, I feel like you needed an energy drink tonight.
Oh no, I'm just.
He came in.
I'm out of it. I'm out of it today. I'm not gonna lie. I like go to the airport earlier. I didn't really have time to look through like the show notes properly. It's a bad week. I'm gonna come back next week. I'm gonna be ready.
Josh,
all of his energy,
thin ice,
dude.
He's on thin ice.
All of his energy was in the beard. I think that's what happened. He cut it off, and
that's
now we've lost him.
Yes, it's really your fault.
If anyone has seen AJ, our editor guy, please let us know. I don't know who this guy is who showed up, but last guy didn't wear hats and had a long beard.
You look good. We gotta get your talent back. It's missing out there. I'm just gonna say though, I did get up at 4:30 in the morning, fly to Orlando, drive 2 hours to Sebring, do multiple meetings, set up this whole situation here, and I'm going for track walk and a photo shoot. So, and I'm doing this.
Yeah, but your life
I've already done it. I did a podcast before this, and I'm doing
your
this
life
one.
is built on chaos.
This is a show, though. This is not a podcast.
My life is.
Yeah, I know.
My life's very mundane. Your life is crazy every day.
I always answer a phone call when Parker calls me because I know whatever's going to come through on that phone call is just going to be the wildest pitch I've ever heard. And it's going to come through in about 5 minutes and then he's going to have to run. And I'm just going to be left with this crazy idea that I have no idea how to execute or how he wants it done.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, every artist has a different method and to get to creating art. And what might seem insane now might be Picasso later. Right. So just saying, let's talk IndyCar.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for the F1 race. We talked about it on Monday. So we kind of ranked that. That was the latest stuff that was out there on F1. Also we did mention at the top, but we didn't say it. Stefano Domenicali was renewed as the CEO of F1 through 2029. So apparently he's doing a good job. I would say he's doing a good job. That guy, I like that guy. I love his comments publicly. I haven't met him personally, but I appreciate his sentiments and such. He's not the FIA, by the way. He's the smart one.
He's FOM.
Very different.
What's that?
Formula One.
Yeah, he's FOM.
Yeah. Formula One management, the ones that make Drive to Survive. So I do have a slight issue, but that's only one part. Everything else they're doing great.
No, I think that guy gets it. He gets it. He comes from the racing side. Obviously ran Ferrari for a while. So he's a good one. He's one of the good ones. One of the good ones.
Yes.
IndyCar, big news for the Indy 500. Takuma Sato is back. That guy is amazing. Dude, I don't know how old he is now, but he still looks like 28. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and he drives like he's 28 because he's still really good.
Yeah, he does, and he wins. So pretty cool. I was actually there for one of his wins. I saw it in person at the Indy 500.
Wow.
What do we think of the paint scheme?
Yep.
I
can't.
You know, it's like the typical IndyCar paint scheme. Could be better.
We'll go full screen here, Parker, for you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that's the best scheme I've ever seen, but I don't hate it.
I know.
It kind of reminds me. Well, the 75 is great. That is nice. The thing I will say is the side and the back kind of reminds me of the Pioneer car from the kart series in the late 90s, early 2000s that eventually went into IndyCar. And I want to say he might have driven the Pioneer car at one point. This gives me a little bit of that flair, but the front, I don't like that. No, not my style.
Okay.
Right. Let's get to this next big thing because I think this is important to put out there. Racer.com had this article talking about how the Fox graphics that they had across the halo, which is really an aero screen for the Indy cars, similar to F1, they were doing that graphic around it on the top side from the top, the TV camera
Similar
that's on
to
the roll
F1.
hoop. Well, the roll hoop,
copied F1.
Yeah, well, it's just like F1.
It's a copy. Yeah, it's a copy.
Yeah, but it's on it's on an aero screen, not a halo. So I'm just gonna clarify that.
Oh, that's how they get around it legally.
Okay.
But
is an aero screen just a covered
halo?
Halo?
You're okay, guys. Okay, I'm not gonna go down this path with you. I'm not. We don't have. We're not going there. All right. So
I'm trying to get you a Lamborghini photo shoot, Josh.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, guys, we gotta get a photo shoot. So
after riding in first class with a Lamborghini jacket,
I got upgraded.
You did post on your Instagram story.
Yeah, but I did get upgraded. I didn't get bought first class. I had to buy regular, and then it got there. All right,
and then
so
they you in your Lamborghini jacket and then upgraded you.
They were like, "Oh, sir, you must stay up here."
How's the caviar and the champagne?
I slept so hard for the first hour, I drooled on myself in first class. So
yeah, they almost kicked him out.
Literally, I woke up. Well, I woke up and there was like I had a jacket and then I was wearing a black Henley shirt underneath, and I was like, "Why is it wet right here?" And it was because I had drooled so deeply on myself. And the man next to me was in a suit, like doing work on his computer. I bet he looked over and was just like, "What is wrong with this individual? Somebody help him!" So I was so tired. So whose dad bought him this seat? This poor sad man in his dad's Lamborghini jacket. All right, back to the IndyCar thing though. You derailed me. The IndyCar, I thought this was super interesting. So they put this graphic across the top of the aero screen, just like F1, and the IndyCar teams had done the research to find out that area on the top of the aero screen was actually the most valuable space for sponsorship because it got the most TV time and the most clear and in focus TV time when you went to onboards. And so when they covered this up, the teams have to basically purchase those cameras for $350,000 a year over the whole season. And then they sell they sell against that for sponsors. And when they covered it up, the sponsors called and were like, "What the hell? We don't get no one can see our logo." So kind of something I guess they're working on. They're going to figure it out. But I thought that was super fascinating. And they had a graphic on the article from Racer where they point out like what each area is valued in percentage of TV time. And I thought that was super interesting. But the number one spot was the Halo or the top of the ocean.
Yeah. We got that
46%.
graphic. We got this graphic right here. We'll pull it up.
Oh, we got it.
Boom.
Bam. Give credit to Racer.com.
Yes, Racer.com. Oh, let me do this. You go ahead.
46% for the inner aero screen, and really the next closest thing, which you'd see and most people think would be the most valuable, is the side pods at 20.3%. So everything else, rear wing 6.4%, cockpit was 9% somehow. So I just thought that was super interesting. Little business inside baseball and racing. But, when we like graphics and things, sometimes, boys, there is other reasonings for changes or whatever. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the next section to you, AJ.
All right. Okay,
we need an update.
It's the e-scooter section. E-scooter might be in trouble.
No, don't say.
A deeper dive this week. They have not posted anything on social media in over a month. Their schedule is still not out. However, I did find that during last year, Parker and Landon could have signed up to compete in the e-scooter championship because they had a sign-up link on their website.
You're kidding.
Wait, and the only requirement is you have to have some sort of athletic ability. Like you've had to be some sort of an athlete already.
All right. Oh my God!
Right up, Parker.
I have to. I'm signing up.
It's already over. They ended the signups last year,
but they haven't launched. They haven't launched. They don't even realize they need me.
AJ, have you been to Costco recently?
No.
There is a Bugatti e-scooter in Costco. Parker could upgrade from a Lamborghini to a Bugatti.
Whoa. I'm still racing Lamborghini. That's the top of the game right now. All right.
Okay. Fair. But imagine e-scooter, Bugatti, crossover with Money Lap. Just saying.
Maybe.
It's got dollar signs written all over it.
Well, we'll have to check it out. Yeah, there you go. Well, maybe next year, if the e-scooter ever comes back, I'll be on the ball. I'll send you the sign-up link, and we'll be good to go. However, we did find this video clip. I think, Parker, you sent it to the group chat of monocycling. Josh, if you want to pull up this video.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. This
video has 3 million views of this guy racing monocycles, which is basically a unicycle, but it has a motor in it. I'm not gonna lie, they do go way faster than the e-scooters, and it looks way more dangerous. Yeah, there it is. Oh, you're about to pull it up. Okay,
yeah, there you go.
It looks terrifying.
Yeah, it genuinely looks very dangerous, and they're going very fast.
Dude, that's crazy. Oh my God, you slowed down by leaning backwards?
Yeah, dude. So
this actually
might
nuts.
This might be what puts e-scooter out of business.
Well, I think e-scooter could turn into this. But this is insane. I'd way rather have handlebars. Yeah, I'd way rather have handlebars.
This would be like another series,
This is credit Zen Lee on YouTube. We want to make sure we give that. But
yeah, Zen Lee, he's got lots of motorcycle content.
If you're listening, we're watching people on basically, if you remember, like Segways, but when they didn't have a Segway without the handlebars. They're just like on this. Yeah.
Just Google monocycle. You'll find it.
Going around a racetrack. Yeah, this is crazy. Absolutely insane. But it's no e-scooter. But we're gonna have to track this series too because
that guy just
he fell off.
He's crashed.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Good recovery.
That's
dude. I bet he got off the thing and they were like, "Yo, great recovery, bro." And they gave him a fist bump.
This is the final lap. That's crazy.
Oh, it's already over?
Well, you sent it 397 seconds in.
Oh,
man, that's close racing.
I didn't mean to do that.
Wait, but here's the question: are you allowed to tug on other drivers? Could you like pull a driver back to slow him down?
I was wondering that. Could you like tandem drafting?
That would be crazy. Or you push a driver forward to overcook his entry. It'd be like just a bumper push, but instead you're just pushing the person instead and making them speed up.
Yeah.
I'd assume this is entirely illegal. Boys, this has been fun. But I want to hear more about e-scooter next
Parker's
time.
And
this one. We'll see which one wins the scooter single double wheel last mile transportation racing series competition that we're looking for. But I got to get ready for this race. Sebring 12-hour, boys.
Good luck.
It's going to be grueling. It's going to be hot. It's going to be 90 degrees on Saturday. I will do most of my running in the daytime, which is where the third driver runs. It is bumpy. It is grueling. There's 56 cars, 31 in GT. This is going to be insane. We got practice tomorrow, qualifying on Friday. And it's going to be like short. Well, in the GT series, it's absolutely a short track racing.
Oh, yeah.
100%. So it's going to be grueling, but look for the Forte Huntress cybersecurity Lamborghini. It looks exactly like it did at Rolex. It's blue with the Huntress logos on it. That's my car, number 78, Forte Racing, Lamborghini. Take a look at it if you're out there. Please root us on. Hopefully, this will be my third race in Florida now in 2 months, and I've won one of those, but they took it away. So now I'm hoping third time's the charm. We win this one, and they can't take it away. Come on.
Wait.
I hope not.
Parker, we have somebody. He's
Oh.
here. He's
No,
here.
no, no. I have to go to a photo shoot.
Ooh.
Oh.
No. Oh,
Oh, his camera's
It's-
broken.
it's broke.
Oh no.
Look, that's actually perfect that we had these technical difficulties. If you're listening, Kyle Busch is actually here on the screen. He just got the green, the bars, the color bars. The camera's not working. We can't hear him. He's muted. I got to run anyway. I'm glad he shut up because he just found out about the group chat last week.
No, you should let him.
we're not gonna
You
have
should
him
let
on
him take the
today.
spot in the Xfinity booth, just because we haven't had him on the podcast.
You know?
You should let him do that. You know.
That's a really nice idea. You know, I
No,
won't
he
be there
left.
in Vegas this weekend because I'm here at Sebring, and yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do that. So I think Kyle,
They'll make it
if
up.
you're listening out there, you can have my spot in the Xfinity Series booth for this weekend, as long as you promise to give it back next week. And I appreciate you filling in for me. So you're a real doll.
Damn.
Boys, this has been fun. That's another group chat for Money Lap. Check us out. We'll be back Monday with our show. And remember, Monday, Wednesdays, YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Do all those things. We're trying to grow this deal. And we're going to have tons and tons of guests coming up in the coming weeks. Let's go, boys. Peace. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the Money Lap. If you like this show, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Share it with friends. We want to spread the word of great motorsports shows, of which we're somewhere up and around there. I'm not exactly sure where, but nonetheless, you can also reach out to us anytime on across social media or at our website, themoneylap.com, or at our email, friends@themoneylap.com. And of course, you can always leave us a review. 5 stars gets you on this very show. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Goodbye.